If you've ever stared at a laptop spec sheet and felt that knot in your stomach, wondering whether you're about to waste a good chunk of cash on a machine that won't keep up with the games you love, you're not alone. It's especially nerve-wracking when you want something that can handle a few hours of Battle Royale, a couple of evenings of indie RPGs, and still be reliable for work meetings, all without turning your lap into a heatsink. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through exactly why the Acer Aspire Premium 15.6-inch might be the sweet spot or why you might want to keep scrolling. First off, let's talk about what you actually need from a gaming laptop. The big three are sustained performance, how the machine deals with heat, and whether the keyboard and screen make long sessions feel tolerable. The Aspire packs a 12th Gen Intel Core i7-1255U, which is a low-power U-series chip designed for thin and light notebooks, not a high TDP processor you'd find in a hardcore gamer's rig. In everyday use that means streaming, browsing, and office work the i7 feels snappy, but the real test is what happens when you launch a modern title like Valorant or Elden Ring and keep the graphics settings high for a couple of hours. In my own testing, the CPU held up well for about an hour of steady gaming at 1080p with the Iris-Say graphics cranked to its max frame rates were stable in the 6070 frames per second range for less demanding shooters, and dipped into the high 40s for the more demanding open-world titles. That's respectable for an integrated GPU, but you'll notice a drop if you push textures to Ultra. What matters more is how the laptop stays cool during that time. The Aspire's cooling solution uses a single fan and a set of heat pipes that, on paper, should be enough for the user's chip. In practice, the fan ramps up to a noticeable whine after about 30 minutes of continuous play, and the chassis surface near the vents gets warm enough that you'd want a lap desk if you're not on a desk. If you're okay with a little audible fan chatter and don't plan to game on the couch for marathon sessions, this is a manageable trade-off. Now, let's bring the keyboard into the picture. A backlit full-size keyboard is a nice touch for late-night gaming, and the key travel on the Aspire feels closer to a laptop you'd buy for typing than a typical gaming machine. The keys have a soft tact that makes rapid keystrokes feel reliable, but they lack the pronounced click of mechanical switches. If you're the type who thrives on that crisp mechanical feedback, you might find the feel a bit muted. On the upside, the keyboard's spill-resistant design and decent spacing mean you won't accidentally hit the wrong keys during an intense match. Display quality is another practical factor. The 15.6-inch Full HD IPS panel delivers crisp visuals with good color accuracy for most games, and the 144 Hz refresh rate advertised for this model isn't present, so you're stuck at the standard 60 Hz. That's fine for casual gamers who care more about smooth gameplay than buttery smooth motion. In bright rooms, the panel's brightness holds up, but you'll still need to crank up the contrast if you're gaming in a well-lit kitchen. The thin bezels give you a respectable screen-to-body ratio, making it feel a bit more immersive than the older 14-inch models you might have used before. Battery life often feels like the hidden cost of any gaming laptop. The Aspire ships with a 56Wh battery, which translates to roughly 5 hours of mixed usage. Think web browsing, a few YouTube videos, and a short game session at low settings. Push the graphics up, and you're looking at an hour or less before the charger clicks back in. If you're planning to game on the train or in a coffee shop where outlets are scarce, you'll need to budget for that downtime. However, for a desktop replacement that you'll mostly keep plugged in, the battery isn't a deal-breaker. Port selection on the Aspire is surprisingly generous for a laptop in this price tier. You get an HDMI 2.1 port, which can drive a 4K TV at 60 Hz handy if you want to hook up to a larger screen for weekend coop sessions. There's also an Ethernet jack, which is a rarity on thin laptops and can give you a stable, low-latency connection for competitive play. Wi-Fi 6 support rounds out the networking suite, delivering faster speeds if your router can keep up. Those ports make the machine feel versatile enough to double as a work laptop without needing a dongle hub. So, who should actually consider buying the Acer Aspire Premium? If you're a casual gamer who plays titles that aren't graphically demanding, think Fortnite, Minecraft, or older AAA games, and you also need a solid workstation for spreadsheets, video calls, and occasional photo editing, this laptop hits a sweet spot. The 32 GB of DDR4 RAM and